commerce is evolving, and I think all of us here, if you're in the industry in any way, it's very clear, right? It's moving pretty fast. And mobile is becoming the heart of digital for commerce. It's not just that commerce is digital, it is specifically that it is mobile, okay? And what's really happening, and you're seeing it, is the brick and mortar is trending down, and even online beginning to trend down, and mobile is beginning its charge, and it's going to overtake all of this in about 2 years. Just one Olympics ago, so if you think back to London, if you were going to buy something online, if any of us were going to buy something online, we were equally as likely to buy it in a physical store. 50-50 shot, okay? Today, everybody just think about that right now. As of this Olympics, that is over. There's a whole series of your life that you don't consider a physical store at all. You know where you're going to buy it. It is a digital retailer. There is more than one. And you don't even consider it. It's not even part of your thought process. So shopping has changed. And really, part of this is the trend of mobile and how easy it is and where it's going. Consumers, because of the shopping experience change, what they expect from their experience, and this is regardless of channel, and I'll go through this more, is they expect simplicity, immediacy, and relevance. And now they expect it in every channel, wherever they are. Okay? And this is because of the mobile experiences. So, not only is commerce digital, it is in fact mobile. So how really is mobile different than traditional commerce? Mobile is a platform. It's not another channel. So you don't have your in-store channel and then your online channel and then your mobile channel. It doesn't work like that. Mobile proliferates every channel, and I know you guys have probably heard this many times as well. But this is for real. I lead a mobile and digital product team. I in no way in my organization consider that I own mobile or digital. I am a consultant to every strategy in our organization, right? It's not just one thing, and I certainly would never be a sole owner just because I lead a product team. That's not the way it works. Everybody has to consult on mobile, and mobile has to be a part of every strategy. Why is that? These devices are easy to carry. They're very socially connected, which is where a lot of the world is right now. You can, whether it's professionally or personally, you can connect and talk, and your groups are engaged with you. And the biggest piece is context is king. Mobile devices, they get you. I mean, people have love for their mobile device, right? It knows what notifications to give you. It tells you things that you want to know right when you want to know them. Why? It's got a camera. It's got geolocation. It knows where you've browsed. It knows how you walked through an app and what you've been doing on apps lately and what you've been doing with songs and all other sorts of things. It gets you. It has more data on you than any digital piece of anything in ever. So what it's about really is utilizing how these devices get you and what can be known about you and giving you back experiences that are valuable as a customer, as a participant with a retailer. That's what they can do. So context is king in the mobile device. So what do we mean by app? It's really hard for me to stand still, so I'm going to try. If there's a roaming mic, I would take it. But I'm going to try to stand still so you can hear me. So what is an app? So we have a very brief history, and I'll try to keep it lively. Mobile applications were created because online, on websites, there were these big integrated software systems running websites, and sometimes they were connected to large, commerce platforms. These could not run on mobile devices. And in fact, if you look at old websites, and this is actually, I was in banking when this was happening, lots of challenges. And how do we get people through this website in the experience we want, in the experience they want? Which experience do we want on this website? Websites have so much functionality, it was tough. People didn't like them. They were complicated. This was coming out in surveys. Mobile apps were created because they had to be small packages of functionality, which ultimately came down to code. They had limited space for the code on the phone. They were known as, and they still are known as, isolated and limited pieces of functionality. And if you think about it, that's entirely true. Mobile apps are limited and put away. They're also self-selected right now. Their seeming detriment, the mobile app's seeming detriment, quickly became its biggest asset. Mobile apps have to be the wanted functionality by the consumer or they're gone. They also have to be pretty. They have to be beautifully optimized for the mobile device. If I can't see it, if I don't understand it, you're gone. So these little packages of code really became the heart of what customers and consumers wanted. You either got to the heart or you were gone. Now the good news is Google is easing this up a bit this year. So Jack was here yesterday, he had to talk about this. So Google is actually making mobile apps smaller. They're modularizing them. And they no longer have to be self-selected permanently. You aren't going to have to download them. I'm going to give a little user walk us through this. So what's happening is I have a 4-year-old daughter. She has the most sensitive feet, I swear, on the entire planet. So I'm buying shoes. I am serious like every other week. I do not download every retailer's app from whom I might buy these, size 10 toddler shoes. So when I look at these shoes, I am usually on an optimized mobile web page. It's difficult sometimes to see the specifications of these things, and I need to know where every little piece of them are because they're going to rub in the wrong place. And I need to buy easily, and we all know buying from the websites on a mobile device can still be challenging, even with Chrome sometimes. So what Google is allowing and is happening this fall is that whatever retailer I'm on, if they have modularized their app, I can click a button and it will pop up just the pages of the mobile app, that retailer's mobile app that shows me the shoe. They're super beautifully optimized, right? So I can see the specifications easily. And the idea is for commerce that I could buy those shoes in about 2 clicks. Whether that's Android Pay, Samsung Pay, I potentially have a card on file with this merchant because I don't download every app of every merchant I have a card on file. So it could be that way as well. This is going to change the landscape of mobile apps. This is a brand new world for mobile apps. So it's not necessarily download and dead anymore. You might get a little more play than that. You might see customers you've never seen before. It's going to open up even more data. So mobile surfaces the context where commerce is taking place and changing the experience to where payment disappears into the experience itself. Now, so I'm going to talk about Uber. I know everyone talks about Uber. I'll try to make it a little bit interesting. We'll see. So Uber started with millennials. They have one of the best mobile experiences, right? Number one disruptor in a lot of conversations, Uber. They started with millennials. They got their buy-in from millennials, specifically in the Bay Area. That makes sense. They have a lot of things that millennials like. I have a mother who takes care of my lovely children, thank goodness. She's a 60-something. I told her I wouldn't tell you her age. And she has a mechanic problem, and we had taxis, and it was like a disaster. I was like, sit down. We're going to download Uber. You're going to get an Uber. She's in full resistance, right? She's like, I don't want to do this. Nah. I'm like, sit down. We're doing it. So we sit down and she gets an Uber. That is not interesting. You should not find that particularly interesting. The fact that her daughter can get her through an Uber is not all that telling. What's telling is that my 60-something-year-old mother, a week later, got an Uber for her friend who was in town just because she didn't feel like taking her to the train. Okay? This is a whole different experience. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten an Uber for a friend. I was like, really? You did that? That's okay. And this woman who is in full resistance did this. She never would have got a taxi. She wouldn't know how much it cost. She didn't know where they were going to pick her up. There was going to be all kinds of problems. Uber has done 2 things in this frictionless experience, this seamless experience that everyone is seeking. They not only removed a whole stack of hurdles from an experience, They uplifted parts of the experience that people really like. So when we talk about frictionless, when we talk about seamless, you have to do both. You got to remove the hurdles and take down what people don't like, and you got to bring the love. So we have to look at experiences in all new ways. And the great thing is mobile can bring the love. People love their phones. They love it. So you just have to figure out what with you do they want to do with this. Open Table. Open Table is another one I think that was talked about a little bit earlier. And what I'll talk about with Open Table is, I've heard before, well, it's bringing, it's reducing the human experience of the restaurant, there's not so much. No, this is not the point. Let's remove the hurdles with a digital opportunity, and let's use our people staff in new ways, right? I definitely, when I go to a restaurant, I want to hear the specials from the wait staff. They've eaten them all, right? Use your staff in new ways. So it's not just about taking things out and making the digital channel replace it. It's about making sure that we're getting people truly what they like and love about us to them in these channels. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Brian.
Great, thank you, Jamie. So I'll be completely upfront. I know exactly the role that I'm playing, and I know that I stand between you guys and lunch. And I know lunch is on your own, which gives you the chance to explore our fair city a little bit more and the beautiful place. So I promise that I will, keep it brief. But consider this basically a plea, if you will, a plea on behalf of, your marketing counterparts or the marketing people that are in this room. And my background with Discover is currently I'm on the payment side, but I've been with Discover for 12 years. The majority of that has been on the card side, and specifically within rewards and loyalty marketing. So again, I'm representing the marketing guys, those ones that are back in the office and they have those whiteboards that are up there that have all these ideas about the things that they want to do and the ways that they're going to have customer interactions and they're going to be closer and they're going to have more stronger relationships. Or maybe they've got file cabinets filled with manila folders of the same thing. Like, look at this roadmap that I've gotten, all the things that I want to do to drive incremental volume, and I'm going to do that again by having a better relationship with our customers. So as we move forward into in-app payments and mobile migration and all the things that go along with it, the one thing that I've heard a lot of people talking about over the past several days, and you're going to hear echoed here again, is it's all about the data. How are we working towards, as we move within this space, to capture that information, use that information, plan out what we're going to do with it across business units at our companies, and then use that at the end of the day to plug into our CRM platforms and have that more robust experience with our customers. So we're going to go through some examples of things that we're doing today at Discover and some things that are taking place at some of the, as Jamie mentioned, the well-known disruptors within the space. But first, we'll start with some stats, and so we're going to start again with a show of hands. So put your hands up if you have 20 or more apps on your smartphone device today. That should be pretty much easy. Okay. Keep them up. You got 30, 40. If Richard is here from the panel, I know he said he has about, needs about 5 apps worth, or 5 phones worth of apps, so he should still be up there. But the fact is that most people have about 27 apps on their phone today, and they're spending 37 hours a month on them. So, okay, for those of you that had 30 to 40 plus, put the hands up again. Please indulge me. So how many of you are using those 10 apps a day? 20 apps a day? No. Average person is using 1 to 5 apps a day. I use about 1 most of the time. It's actually Clash of Clans. And while Jamie was speaking, I actually destroyed her village. So you can get me back later, Jamie, if you can find me. But honestly, 50% of our time is spent on our favorite app. 88% of our time is spent on just 5. So what does that mean? When you think about the fact that we got 27 apps on our phone and we're spending most of our time on 5, there's app neglect going on. And even worse, there's app deletion taking place. So what are we going to do in order to be more relevant, be more impactful? Jamie talked about simplicity and functionality as one way of doing that, but marketing is a way to do that too. But the key to doing that is having this omni-channel one-to-one experience with your customers. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So one thing to keep in mind, though, is that we all know that mobile is growing. but mobile continues to be a very small portion of our commerce. Yeah, we know it's going to grow. I heard some stats thrown out by the panel. What we're finding out is that by 2020, it's going to represent about 67% of all e-commerce. But we have a way to go to get there. We can migrate people into that space if we have that cohesive, holistic experience with them. 60% of our customer interactions are taking place across multiple channels. It's not that people interact with a channel, but they interact with us, or they interact with our brand. So keep that in mind, that we want to be thinking all the time about where is our volume coming from? Where are the opportunities? How can we drive people to adoption? So I know I'm talking about data, and I'm talking about data representing a credit card company, but like the panel spoke about before, data is not a creepy thing. It's not something that we should be worried about in terms of what are we going to do with it. So some stats were shared with the panel, and I'm going to kind of echo some of those. It's going to be a little bit different, but Research 451 recently did a study, and they found that about 46% of people would share their personal information with a retailer if it meant that they were going to get more personalized rewards. 50% of people would refer a retailer or an app to their friends or family if they were having that closer, more personalized experience and receiving personalized rewards from that. And about the same percentage, 49% of people would use such information as, or allow information like geolocation information to be used if it meant that they were going to have personalized communication sent their way. What people are telling us is that more and more they want us to use the information that's available. They want us to use the information to have a better relationship and a more relevant customer relationship and interaction with them. If we don't, we become a waste of time to those people. And a waste of time leads to app neglect. And app neglect leads to app deletion. We can solve that through the way that we talk with people. So I'm going to get into Discover and how we do things within our app at Discover in some unique ways. But the first things I want to set is just kind of the table for who we are as a company and some of the pillars. So you can see we have listed here rewards. We are the pioneers of rewards. We are the people that invented cashback bonus. It's one of the things that we stand for and one of the things that we are known for and we win accolades for. Customer service and the way that we deliver it both to our card members and the way that we communicate and service our merchant clients is something that we also are known for. And that all leads up to this displayable value, if you will, that we give as an enterprise back to our card members and into the industry as a whole. So those pillars are displayed in the way that we talk or the way that we communicate and the services that we provide within our mobile app. So I'll go through a few of these. Discover Deals. So Discover Deals is one that's a little bit near and dear to my heart. Had a chance to work on it for a very long time. But it's our online shopping mall. Card members come into the mobile app, they come to our online site, and they have the opportunity to take advantage of 200 plus offers from some of the top brands that are in the space. Those offers may be point-of-sale discounts in the form of coupons. They may be card-linked offers. They may be cashback bonus offers. They're offers that are available when they're shopping online or when they're shopping in store. But let's face it, every credit card company has one of these, or every credit card company has had one of these. The challenge has always been, how do you get people to know about it? How do you get people to engage with it? Well, what we've done with Discover Deals is that we actually are able to use the information that we know about our card members, and we can rank order those offers. We can prioritize all 200 of them. So the experience that I have when I go into the mobile app or I go into the online site is much different than the experience that Jamie's going to have or the experience that any of the Discover people or any of the Discover customers out here are going to have. It's a one-to-one personalized experience. And we carry that through in the email communications that we do about the program as well. So these are simple models, but the impact that it has on a click-through rate are so drastic that we know that our card members are having a very relevant experience. This message is resonating with them, and they click through, they engage with the program, they engage with our merchant partners that are within this program, and it's been a very good success. Now, Apple Pay provisioning. Discover had a very unique way of handling Apple Pay rollout. We were, the only app that allowed people to go in and actually provision their card within the Discover application. And that was unique because, as Jamie mentioned, you got to give, you got to streamline, you got to give great functionality, you got to make it easy for people. That was certainly a clear case of doing that. But in doing so, we also generated a way that we were able to have a more robust conversation with our customers about what is this new form of payment, what is the opportunities and the advantages that it's going to have, and here's what we think you can use it for and why you should migrate to it over time. So following up or wrapping up with customer alerts, or customer service, I should say, certainly when you go within the Discover mobile app, you have the ability to set yourself up for alerts so you can see suspicious activity if it occurs. You can even go in and freeze your account, which is something that we released recently. So if you see that suspicious activity and you don't feel good about it, or you misplaced your card, you can turn off your card essentially, or freeze it. Now, we bring in that information again. We distribute that information onto our customer service groups. So when our reps are having conversations, whether it's through chat or whether it's over the phone, they're all aware of everything that's going on. So again, application information being used to service a whole relationship that we have with our card member base in order to make it more personalized for them. And that's the key. So I know a lot of people are saying out there like, great, but you're not a commerce app. And that's true, full admission that we aren't. But the point of the conversation is just to let you know again, like what we are doing today and how we are using data and the impact that it's having for us. Retailers have a more unique opportunity, or a fantastic opportunity as well, in the ability to use those transactions that are being gathered to have that much more of a close personal relationship with their consumers. So the panel up here again, struck a chord and brought up some examples. Use transaction activity to be able to recommend the next purchase for a customer when they're within your store, or provide opportunities to build out that customer profile that you have. Find ways to have a closer, more one-to-one relationship, and it's going to help with volume engagement overall. So some examples, kind of to talk about some of these disruptors again, and I know a lot of them have been mentioned here today even. So Airbnb. Airbnb is certainly using geolocation that they have at their fingertips. They're taking that booking information, but what they're able to do is also provide communication on the back end for once that booking occurs, to be able to tell you about things that are going on or places you might like to visit within the neighborhood that you're going to be staying, that you could be interested in. Uber, from a transportation standpoint, is also using that geolocation data, but they're also using transaction information to be able to tell you about routes that you have taken in the past, promotional offers along those routes. And as mentioned earlier, they're even getting into complementary, merchant partnerships for places within the local area of where you are at that you might want to be taking advantage of. And then finally, within the grocery space, Instacart has certainly revolutionized everything. Now you have the ability to not even leave your house and have groceries delivered right to your door. But again, they're using the information that they have, not only the geo data, page view data, transactional data, but they have the ability to, again, do promotional offers, but also to alert you to when new stores within your area are starting to participate in the program. So that favorite grocery store of yours, is now available. So wrapping things up, these are just some things that we wanted to share to kind of highlight the way that these relationships are being generated through the additional use of data, and how we are using an omni-channel experience today in order to create more value for our card members, and how retailers can do the same for their consumers. So we're certainly at the beginning stages. That first step, and I guess I'll kind of wrap it up with a plea again, is that as we talk about all these ideas, as we talk about these roadmaps, and we're doing these whiteboarding sessions, know that whether you're doing an internal build or an external buy, you have to be set up from a technology standpoint to be able to bring in, store, hold on to, manipulate, brainstorm on ways that you can use this information. Because if you will, and you talk across your business units like marketing, CRM groups, customer service, what have you, you'll be able to use this to the best of your ability, and in the end, generate a more meaningful relationship with your customers. So thank you, and I will release you all to lunch, unless I don't know if we have time for questions or not. But everyone's hungry. Okay, thank you all.